Yeah. Hey yo, welcome to the show. My name is Jason Wolf and it's 9 o'clock Eastern Time. What's up, everybody? So, I didn't get good sleep last night. So, I got confused with what time it was and I thought it's 9 o'clock right now, so I should do the show, right? So, here we are, we're doing the show. 7 days later today with me, Jason Wolf. Thanks for tuning in for this late night episode, Friday night. If you're like me, you haven't had plans on Friday night for about 10 months. Yeah, and we're waiting, hoping that that's gonna come to a close real soon. Who knows? Who friggin' knows? I'm sure you're curious why I got this black labeled. Well, I don't know the rules, you know. I'm still pretty new to this. I don't understand what I can and what I can't do. So I'm gonna play it safe. I've got my zipper all the way up, and I've got my Rona black labeled. Oopsie, I told you. All right, today on the show, we're gonna talk about the more than 30 House members that sent a letter asking to use funds for security. That's right. The riot that occurred at the Capitol last week still got them shook. They're still pretty shook up, so we're going to go into that. Maybe they have a point, maybe they don't. We're going to talk about Representative Kinzinger. He is a Republican from Illinois. I haven't really dug into whether he's in the House or the Senate. I'm going to assume he's in the Senate. He said he took a pretty big leap of faith the other day, voting for the approval on Donald Trump. Actually, you know what? He must be in the House because the vote went through the House. Kinzinger said that he was taking a huge risk by approving the impeachment of Trump as a Republican. We're going to dig into that a little bit. I think he's a fucking pussy. Anyways, Oath Keeper members indicted in plot to storm U.S. Capitol. And they should be. Biden announces sweeping policy changes to combat climate crisis. We're going to go into that, and I'm going to give you my view on climate crisis. Because I think I have a view that isn't very popular. Not popular because no one's disagrees with it. I think it's not popular because no one's talking about it. We're going to go into that a little bit. And then the featured segment of today, we are going to talk about what's been going on with the stock market. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Now, I am not going to go into what happened. There's a lot more smart people out there who can do a much better job they can probably put that sentence together a lot better than I just did as well. So I recommend, I'm going to have a couple recommendations for you on where to go, who to look at, who's got good information. One that might be a little bit surprising. I know it was surprising for me. Let's get into this episode. It's Friday, January 29th. It's 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We're doing a little bit of a late night Friday episode. I'm feeling good. We got the beer. Usually we got the coffee. You already know I got the weed in me. I might even mid-episode light one up. Let's do it.
Did you say that you will, as I flag down your right? I guess I shaped up alright tonight. And blood rushed through my skin. I said we'll do this again, at a time and a place you'd like. But my words fall short too hollow. Right at your feet I'll follow up. Make sure I'm set to get some. And you said, well, how's tomorrow? For movies, that's friends no more though. Last time I checked, you get none. You get none.
All right. I am posting to social media real quick. See if we can't get some people watching this damn thing. I'm gonna go live real quick. Still new to the Instagram game. Just did a story. I gotta go live, but I don't know how to go live. I gotta go live, but I don't know how to go live. Oh my goodness, how do I do this? How do I go live? Oh, here we go. There we go. How's everyone doing? We got the late night episode going. My phone's gonna die. I would definitely have the live stream going for this, but go on to YouTube, watch the live stream. I know you don't got anything going on, unless you're living in South Dakota, because shit isn't locked down. But I don't live in one of those states. I live in a state where it's not okay. It's not okay just to go out and about. So I know you got nothing going on. So go over to YouTube, follow the show 7 days later today. Follow along with us. We got everything set up. We got the lights. Casey, I see you watching. Go watch the show 7 days later today. Follow along with what we're talking about, because here on Instagram you can't really see everything that I'm doing, because I've got a show to put together. This is professional shit, okay? So go to YouTube 7 days later today. You're going to see me live streaming. You're going to see everything that I'm talking about. We're doing a late night episode. Usually it's an early morning episode, okay? So just go to YouTube, Casey. Go to YouTube, because I'm ending the live on Instagram. And if anyone else happens to watch this, go to freaking YouTube. I'm not going to say it again. I'm done. Ended. All right. Let's get the episode going. I think that's Casey who just joined. I think she's watching on YouTube, or maybe it's someone else. Good to have you on the show. We're going to jump into our first segment. More than 30 House members send letter asking to use funds for security. All right, let's dig into this and let's see what this is all about. I got a feeling it's just more creating a monster under the bed, even though the monster is not even under the bed anymore. The monster's gone. For those of you, the monster is Orange Man Bad. All right, let's dig into this. More than 30 House members sent a letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy Thursday requesting additional flexibility to use their congressional allowances toward helping their personal safety. Should be personal psychology. Oh, God, this is a fucking... Oh, it's a long letter. And it's extremely... Oh, it's only... All right, there's 3 pages. This is gonna... I'm not going through this, but I haven't read this yet, but I can tell you where it's going, okay? They're going to say the threat of what happened at the Capitol riot is still so scary that they need some personal bodyguards. But they're not going to pay for them because they're just doing their job. And it's not that they're doing their job in a way that it's so good that people are in fear for their lives, but it's probably because they're so bad at their jobs that they're in fear of their life. All right. Dear Speaker Bitchalosi, the horrific attack on the United States Capitol reminds us of the grim reality that members of Congress are high-profile public officials. Really? And therefore face ongoing security threats from the same domestic terror groups that attacked the Capitol just in the last month. Going where I thought it was. Unfortunately, in recent years, there has been a surge of threats and attacks on members of Congress, including the 2017 baseball game practice shooting that wounded Republican whip Steve Scalise. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. The bottom line, members now regularly face threats in Washington, D.C. and in their districts. Now, you should never threaten anyone, okay? You shouldn't threaten anyone, but could there be a reason? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. You'd have to dig into each individual case. What I'm curious about is if this... So this Republican whip, Steve Scalise, got... I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up. I can't leave it at this. So he got attacked. Okay. On June 14th, 2017, a gunman walked onto a baseball field at Eugene Simpson Park in Alexandria, Virginia, opened fire on politicians and wounding House GOP whip Steve Scalise. They had been practicing for an annual charity game. And someone asked who was on the field practicing. Jeez. So he started firing them off once he found out Republicans were out on the field. All right, maybe they got something here. While the U.S. Capitol is protected by the United States Capitol Police with the support of strong security measures, including vehicle barriers and metal detectors, most members spend the majority of their time in their congressional districts, where security is often sparse. Protecting members in their district is much harder because local law enforcement agencies are stretched and limited, and often don't have sufficient staffing or money to provide regular protection to members, except for leadership members. All right. I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'm not going to get into it. here's what I'm taking away from this. They think they need protection. You know what? They probably do. They probably do, but do they need it all the time? Maybe. Maybe they do need it all the time, but it sounds like from this 2017 attack, the problem was there was a lot of politicians in one area with no protection, out in the open, completely accessible. I think you measure risk and reward when it comes to these situations. Do members of Congress, I wonder, I bet members of the Senate already do have security that are assigned to them. Maybe that's why the House is trying to get it, and maybe that's why we're not hearing about the Senate asking for the same thing. Very possible. Not sure. My opinion on this, I think that you measure risk and reward based on what's going on, what kind of threats you've had. I'm sure the FBI is involved with any sort of threat that could occur or possibly might occur. Now, they can't catch everything, but it seems like a lot of times they know about something, they heard something could happen. So, I don't know about that one. That's an interesting one. What do you guys think? Go ahead and comment below what you guys think. Should members of the House have security? Or do you agree with me that they should measure risk and reward so that they just don't have security all the time when they don't need it, charging us more money? I mean, I think one big problem with government is inefficiency. But what do I know? I'm just some kid who black labels his drinks. Maybe I do know something. Next segment. GOP Representative Kissinger is a pussy. All right, this guy, he is a Democrat he is a Democrat. Or no, excuse me. Starting over. If you haven't yet, like, follow, subscribe. 7 days later today, I am your host, Jason Wolf. Next, we are going to get into why Representative Kissinger is a pussy. This is a Republican from Illinois, okay? Being a Republican from Illinois is like being a child who is 46. It doesn't make much sense, and there's not much truth to it, because what he's trying to tell people is he took a huge risk voting for the impeachment of Donald Trump. And again, I'm just going to predict that this fella, even though I think there was like 30 House members who flipped on this vote for impeachment with Donald Trump, so I really don't think he's taken too much of a leap, and the swamp is going to hang out with the swamp. The crocodiles, they don't mind the alligators. They might disagree every now and then, but you know what? For the most part, they understand that they need to live together. All right, Representative Adam Kinzinger is willing to lose his seat over his vote to impeach the president. Oh, jeez. I've had more than one of these. Representative Adam Kinzinger is willing to lose his seat over his vote to impeach then-President Donald Trump. The Illinois Republican told CNN's David Axelrod during an episode of The Axe Files podcast released Thursday. "I did it knowing full well it could very well be terminal to my career," Kinzinger said of his vote, "but I also knew that I couldn't live with myself having, try to just protect it, and just felt like the one time I was called to do a really tough duty, I didn't do it." You're a pussy, bro. I see right through you. I see right through you. You're playing your hand the best you can, but you're trying to make it seem like you're more than you are. I don't like that. I don't like it. Everyone knows what you're doing. Everyone knows what you're trying to say. You're playing the game, and you're full of shit. Kinzinger was one of 10 Republicans who joined all House Democrats in voting to impeach Trump earlier this month. 10. For incitement of insurrection in light of his role in encouraging the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. I'll say to anybody that thinks my vote was for politics, they don't know me. And I would say now they don't know politics because, you have to get through a primary. Kinzinger added, and would it make me more able to win a general election? Probably, but that's not why I did it. What? What? Am I reading this right? I'll say to anybody that thinks my vote was for politics, they don't know me. And I would say now they don't know politics because, you have to get through a primary. And would it make me more able to win a general election? Probably. But that's not why I did it. What a pussy. Say what you gotta say. Man, I can't. This is why I can't stand the news and I can't stand politics. This is coming from CNN. I'm glad they put that quote in there the way they did. Because fuck this guy. This is the swamp. This is the swamp. It's on both sides. It's on both sides. They're playing politics. And whenever you hear someone say, you don't know politics, I got to get through a primary, and then agrees basically that what people are saying is probably right, but that's not why he did it. I just don't... What goes through people's heads where they're like, oh, he's telling the truth. Oh, no, that word's good for me. It just doesn't make sense. I just want to continue to read this because I got a feeling that he's eventually going to say, I wouldn't kill anyone unless it benefited my career. But I would probably kill someone. Kinzinger announced his intentions the day before the impeachment vote, issuing a statement reading, "There is no doubt in my mind that the President of the United States broke his oath of office and incited this insurrection. He used his position in the executive to attack the legislative." I don't know much about what the president said, but you know what? I don't trust these people enough to even assume that what they're saying is anywhere close to the truth. Because again, when you look into all of that stuff, I've seen videos of some guards just letting them in. I've seen videos of guards trying to stop them. So I don't know what the truth is. So I don't know what to believe there. As far as that's concerned, that might as well be God. Could have happened. He could be there. He might be there. He probably is there. But do I know enough to claim him as my one and only Savior? Not yet. Give me some more information. Maybe I should read the Bible. All right. Concerns over his future within the party aren't without merit. Several House Republicans have hammered Representative Liz Cheney of Wyoming, the party's third-ranking House leader, calling for her to step down from her leadership position over her vote to impeach Trump. She's also facing a primary challenge from a prominent conservative state legislator. That's pretty surprising to hear. But again, I'm sure she had a reason for doing it. I'm sure someone needed her vote elsewhere. She thought this was an easy give because everyone else is going to do it. Why not just do it and I'll get something down the road for this vote? Not a bad idea. All right, I'm not going to go into this anymore. Representative Kinzinger from Illinois, we all know what you're doing. You're playing the game. You're not playing it very well because I'm 27 and I've got a dog that I take care of kind of well. It's one of my biggest responsibilities. But one of your biggest responsibilities is trying to not to lie to people. And I read right through it just like I read through my dog's shit. I know whether it's going to be hard or soft right when he starts to squat. And I could tell right when you started to squat, that shit was going to be soft. You pussy. What we got next? Ended that segment nice. Ooh, I ended that nice. Talk about a burn. I just compared that man to my dog when he squats to take a shit. All right. Oath Keeper members indicted in plot to storm versus Capitol. We're really going against the tide of what we usually do here, going after the Republican-leaning conservative members here. But you know what? Everyone needs to be held accountable. And if you do some stupid shit and it seems like it represents everyone, especially with the media that we have, fuck you. Fuck you. You're giving everyone a bad name. Now, there's a lot of talks about these people being possible like Antifa spies, where they infiltrated the alt-right. I mean, if anyone thought this was a good idea, they probably are alt-right. Anyone who thought storming the Capitol was a good idea, they probably are alt-right. Now, could all of them be anti-fascist people? I don't think so. I don't think so. So I do think that these people who stormed the Capitol thought they were going to stop Joe Biden from being inaugurated. And that's crazy. That's just stupid. I mean, it's just not very well thought out. If there is ever some sort of civil war, that's not how it's going to get played out. That's not how it's going to start. That is how you, if I could bring it back to my dog's squatting, it's when you know that he already went shit a couple minutes ago, but he thinks he's got more in him. And so, like, him, Coda, thinking he needs to shit more is those people who are Trumpers. I'm a Trump supporter, but I am not a Trumper. Okay? Those Trumpers who felt like, fuck yeah, which I also feel, fuck yeah. But I'm also smarter to think about the consequences of my actions, where when my dog takes that second squat, nothing's coming out. Nothing good is going to come of it. I don't know where I'm going with this. That was bad. I closed that last one out nice. I tried to bring this one all together. We're going to take a look at this article over here. Oath Keeper members indicted in plot to storm U.S. Capitol. The United States has secured an indictment against 3 members of the far-right Oath Keepers militia, charging they conspired to storm the U.S. Capitol in a bid to stop Congress from certifying Joe Biden's presidential election victory. The indictment alleges Jessica Marie Watkins, 38, Donovan Ray Crowell, 50, and Thomas Caldwell, 65. What a mixed group of people. How do these people meet? A 38-year-old, a 50-year-old, and a 65-year-old. That bar that they are living in, or that town that they're living in, must not have many bars. All these people are hanging out at the same bar. That's a strange collection of people. Conspired as far back as November to obstruct Congress, a charge that can carry a maximum prison sentence of 20 years. I say give it to them, as long as you follow the same suit for everyone. The trio were previously charged by criminal complaint, and all 3 were ordered detained after magistrate judges ruled they posed a danger to the community and should be held without bond. None of the 3 have entered pleas in the case yet. The case against the 3 Oath Keepers is the first of its kind so far, as the FBI combs through more than 200,000 videos and photos to investigate people who took part in the siege. To date, more than 135 people have been arrested in connection with the January 6th breach by supporters of then President Donald Trump, which left 5 people dead and sent members of Congress rushing to safety. Trump was impeached by the House a week later on a charge of inciting insurrection with a speech to supporters' protest before they stormed the Capitol. The amended complaint against the 3 Oath Keepers, which was made public earlier this month, disclosed they had exchanged multiple messages before and during the riot at the Capitol to coordinate their efforts. In one example, the FBI said Caldwell had received a message from an unknown person while he was inside the Capitol that read, "All members are in the tunnels under Capitol, seal them in. Turn on gas." Jesus Christ. The 22-page indictment made public Wednesday revealed more details about the plans the 3 allegedly made to travel to Washington on January 6th. I'm not going to go into this anymore because I personally think that when you're responsible for something, you should be held responsible for it. I don't give a shit who you are. It really doesn't matter. These people who rioted on the Capitol should be held responsible. The same way that people who burned down buildings all over the country during the BLM riots should be held accountable. And for those who are a part of BLM, I don't understand why you wouldn't want those people to be held accountable. Like, I have seen videos of people trying to stop them, but I think it comes to a point where you realize that your organization is causing out-of-control riots. Is there a point where you should maybe take control of what you're doing rather than saying, oh no, they're not part of us, but we're not going to say that what they're doing is wrong? Isn't there a time where you should say, we don't agree with what they're doing, and here's how we're going to help combat that, because we understand that our movement is the catalyst of these folks rioting. Now, some could say the catalyst is, oh God, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get it from the internet if anyone watches this for forgetting his name. George Floyd, I think. George Floyd, I think that some people would say that that was the catalyst. I would agree that was a catalyst. And I don't think anyone would disagree that people shouldn't be treated wrong by the cops. I don't think there's anyone out there who thinks police brutality is a good thing. Because if you're wise enough, you would think if it happens to these group of people, then there's no reason it couldn't happen to me. I think a lot of times racism is mixed in with hateful people. They're just hateful people, no matter who you are. Sometimes people are racist, and sometimes they're just hateful people. I think a lot of times these videos of you see people calling the cops when people having barbecues, or a little girl selling water on the street and someone calls the cops on her. Obviously, it's ridiculous. But is it racism? That's the hard part, because I've got a feeling that if it was just another little girl, there's maybe a good chance that this person calls the cops because they're just a hateful person. Because maybe sometimes back in their past, they tried having a barbecue and no one showed up for the barbecue. Or maybe sometime back in their past, they tried selling water on the street, but they didn't have a permit, so this little girl better have a permit. So maybe it is racism. Definitely could be. Or it's just a hateful person, which there's a lot of them out there. So no matter who you are, I think you should be held responsible for what you've done, because if bad things happen and people are allowed to get away with it, bad things are going to happen to good people. Common sense. Common sense up in here. Here, 7 days later today with Hippocrates. Next up, Biden announces sweeping policy changes to combat climate crisis. Now, again, I'm not going to dig into this article too much because this episode is going a lot longer than I thought it was going to go. But you know what? Sometimes that's what happens when you put stuff together. We got 2 people watching. Thank you for watching. Black Label drink. You can get this at any Walmart. The Black Label you have to get yourself, though. Right when I said 2 people are watching, someone left. That's bullshit. Anyways, I guess we'll talk about my feelings on climate change. I've got a feeling this is going to be a pretty good take because I don't know many people talking about this. I think it should be a popular way for the conservative side to combat climate change because there is 100% climate change, okay? Not going to deny it. I am not a climate change denier. What I am going to deny, though, is the fact that we can stop climate change. That is absurd to think about because if you look back in history, there's nothing we can do about climate change. It's going to occur whether humans are here or not, okay? So let's dig into what Biden's about to do. Probably with some executive orders. We're over here on the Epoch Times conservative website. Biden announces sweeping policy changes to combat climate crisis. President Joe Biden on Wednesday revealed details of a set of broad environmental executive actions aimed at further tackling what he called the existential threat of climate change. The new whole government Biden administration policies seek to put climate change at the center of our domestic, national security, and foreign policy, and is drawing criticism for its high cost and potential job losses as the United States is already facing huge pandemic-related job losses. We've already seen some of those jobs lost during the XL pipeline and the wall. Now, some people are talking about those jobs as temporary jobs. Yeah, those were temporary jobs, but do you realize that some of those people make hundreds of thousands of dollars during those temporary jobs? And a lot of times that money goes back into the economy. Biden did not address the direct impact of jobs lost from the forced move toward renewable energy resources, but emphasized the creation of jobs in the renewable energy industry. This executive order, it's about jobs, good-paying union jobs. It's about workers building our economy back better than before. It's a whole of government approach to put climate change at the center of our domestic national security and foreign policy. Biden said at a press conference on Wednesday, "We can put millions of Americans in the work, modernizing our water systems, transportation, and our energy infrastructure to withstand the impacts of extreme climate." I'm not going to go any further because if renewable energy, even if you talk to some environmentalists, I challenge some of you to look into this. Even if you talk to some environmentalists, what you're going to find is, for example, wind turbines are, in the words of some environmentalists, worse for the environment than they are good for the environment. And that's because of all of the CO2 and everything that's needed to get them created, get them going. Apparently, they're a danger to birds. I don't know how that's a possibility. Even though that thing's moving, I mean, planes are moving pretty fast. I know that birds don't fly at where planes are flying, but that plane is on the ground getting up there. Are you telling me that a bird, if it's flying and it sees a plane coming at an angle, you tell me a bird can't distinguish rate of speed and geometry to some point of the imagination? I've seen birds in all sorts of formations doing thousands and hundreds of birds spinning around. You telling me they can't avoid a wind turbine spinning around? Look at that wind turbine. That's a good turbine. You telling me a bird can't avoid that? I'm speculative of that. But if you do talk to a lot of environmentalists, I would strongly recommend looking this up. Wind turbines are actually detrimental to the environment. Kind of the opposite of the effect that they have. But you know what I'm going to assume? This has to do with the money that has been put into renewable energy. It has nothing to do with the jobs that are going to be created by the renewable energy market. You know why? because I got a feeling the Democrat Party probably has some investors who probably are invested in renewable energy. And they've bet on that being the future. And so they can't miss out on their bet. They can't miss out on their bet. So what I think would be a good argument for the conservative side would be, we can't stop climate change from happening. We cannot stop it. It is going to happen whether humans are here or not. Okay? So my question is, why don't the conservatives take a point of view that says, because we cannot predict or know when climate change is truly going to change our way of life, shouldn't we prepare for that now? Isn't that what we should be preparing for? Because, again, whether humans are here or not, the climate is going to change. And sometimes, I'm not an expert, but apparently geology shows this stuff, where it shows when the poles flip, and when the poles flip, when north becomes south and south becomes north, shit goes off in the Earth's atmosphere, and on the Earth's mantle, and apparently in the core as well. I don't know. I don't understand it, but it's happened even when humans weren't here. So it's going to happen whether we're here or not. So is the question, we have to figure out a way to slow this down? Or should the question be, we need to figure out a way to prepare for this when it does eventually come? You get me? Isn't it kind of a waste of a thought process if you know something is inevitable to try and slow it down? Could you imagine? Let's look at this. If you knew that your family member was going to die in 6 months, you know what? I'm kind of changing my mind here. All right, what I was about to say is, if you knew a family member was about to die in 6 months, would you want to do everything you can to keep that? You know what? Let's not. You know what? Let's say this, because this is a better analogy. You know for sure your relative is going to die in 6 months. There's no stopping it. There's no chances. 100% sure. It's 100% sure your relative is going to die in 6 months. So, just like the world going through cycles, and eventually the climate is going to change whether we're here or not, and it's going to have a dramatic effect on the atmosphere and the temperature and the way of life we would have to get used to. Does it make more sense to slow that down, even though we know it's going to happen eventually? Or does it make more sense to prepare for it when it does happen? Going back to the analogy of your family member who has 6 months to live, it's 100% certain. It could go past that 6 months a little bit, but it's 100% certain that they're going to die. Now, are you going to spend your money on more treatments, on trying to extend that life, even though you know they're going to die at some point? Or are you going to spend your money on enjoying the rest of that life? I think that's a pretty good analogy. That's a fair question. If the earth was a family member, and you knew that this family member was going to die in 6 months, could be 8, could be 10, they could even make it to a year, but it was 100% certain that they were going to die, would you, ask yourself this question, would you spend money on treatments that might work, might not work, could cause more problems, might work, might not work, to extend that life a little bit longer? Or would you spend more money on fulfilling that life for what it has left? I think for me personally, if that was my deathbed, I wouldn't want my family to spend more money on me. I'd say enjoy what you have. And I think that's true to life in that analogy. That is life. Enjoy your life. Enjoy the money that you have with your life that you have now. So why not spend the money that we have now to prepare for that future that is inevitable so that more people can live in that future that is inevitable? Just a thought. Maybe not the best analogy. Think about it. Think about it a little bit. Think about it. We're already at 48 minutes into this show. Is it a good one? I don't know. I'm not sure. That's for you to decide. We got our featured segment coming up. And I am excited to talk about this one because everyone is talking about it right now. Absolutely everyone is talking about what is going on with the stock market. Robinhood, this Reddit site, what is it? Wall Street Bets, the Reddit site Wall Street Bets, Robinhood, I believe the hedge fund is called something capital, some shit like that. I don't know. If you're still watching, please like, subscribe, comment down below. Just got done talking about some stuff. What do you think about that? Now we're going to go into the stocks. Everything that we got happening with the Reddit site, Market Street Bets, the trading platform, Robinhood, and Citadel, the hedge fund company that's it's got its hands in a little bit of everything. And it got caught with its hand in the cookie jar. And now they think the rules should change because it's not fair. It's not fair. We're supposed to win. Now, I am not going to go into this. I'm not going to talk about what happened. If you want to go and look into what happened, I suggest 2 videos for you. One, Ben Shapiro, he explains it pretty well. Now, he talked pretty fast, so you might have to hit pause or slow it down to like half speed. But he explains it very well, and I think after you watch that, you will understand it better. 2, this is a surprising pick for me. You go over to Impulsive and watch episode 232. I am surprised by the conversation that these guys had. They even had the founder of the Reddit Wall Street Bets on, and they go into pretty good detail on everything that happened. And you know what? It's given me a sense of confidence. And I'm going to go into why this has given me a sense of confidence. But first, I'm going to go into what this reminds me of. Everything that's going on right now basically reminds me of the scene in The Dark Knight, where Joker goes on to make this quote.
Look what I did to this city with a few drums of gas and a couple of bullets. You know what I noticed? Nobody panics when things go according to plan. Even if the plan is horrifying. If tomorrow I tell the press that like a gangbanger will get shot, or a truckload of soldiers will be blowing up, nobody panics. Because it's all part of the plan. But when I say that one little old mare will die, well, then everyone loses their minds.
All right, so for those of you who get that reference, basically the Joker in this scenario is Wall Street Bets, because they have done what the Joker did in The Dark Knight.
One of the great challenges
Oh, Jesus,
in
that
this
scared the
world
shit
is
out of
knowing
me.
enough about a subject to think you're right.
That absolutely scared the shit out of me. So that reminds me, everything that's going on right now reminds me of that scene from The Dark Knight when the Joker is talking about how if everything is normal, even if it's a bad thing, it's okay. But as soon as one little mayor gets threatened, everybody loses their minds. And it's just like this, where now that the big money in Wall Street is losing their money, there's a problem. There's something that needs to be done. And there is a site called The Hill. This is a left-leaning organization, only on YouTube, I believe. I like to go to them for what I think is the most non-biased information from the left. And Crystal Ball, she is going to talk about a billionaire crying about all this crap, and she makes a really good point. So take a look.
Billionaire hedge funder Leon Cooperman was very much in his feelings yesterday about the whole GameStop situation, and oh my God, these poors actually benefiting in the market. We can't possibly have that. He got asked a question about whether he should be taxed more and pay his fair share, and he did not appreciate that line of inquiry. Let's take a listen.
Of course not.
The reason the market is doing what it's doing is people are sitting at home getting the checks from the government, okay? And this fair share is a bullshit concept. It's just a way of attacking wealthy people.
You're attacking us. Take your $600 and shove it up your ass. You should be spending that on food, you selfish pricks.
And, you know, I think it's inappropriate. We all got to work together and pull together.
Yeah.
Wealthy people are under attack, Sagar. It's so horrible.
This guy
How can
is
we?
the gift that keeps on giving. He's
Yeah.
the one who attacked. I think he was like crying about
Elizabeth, I actually
Warren.
have the quote here.
Okay.
So you recall, when I saw this, I was like, this
Yeah,
guy
like, I know
rings a
this guy.
bell.
Right.
I think he's got a little bit of a track record, but my brain doesn't work that good, so I had to look it up. He's the one who cried during the Democratic primary about Elizabeth Warren wanting to have a wealth tax. First of all, don't worry, Elizabeth Warren's no threat to you. But he said at that time, I don't need Elizabeth Warren telling me that I'm a deadbeat and that billionaires are deadbeats. The vilification of billionaires makes no sense to me. The world is a substantially better place because of Bill Gates, Michael Bloomberg, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Literally in
There's some
tears
truth to
over
that.
this. I mean, can you imagine? Like, can you imagine the gall when you have everything? You have everything at your beck and call. And the moment that anyone suggests, hey, maybe we should tilt the playing field, make it a tiny bit more fair, a little bit more, oh my God, the vilification and the class war here. It actually reminds me of the Obama era when, I mean, Obama was phenomenally cozy with
Of
Wall
course.
Street. They
Yeah.
funded his campaign. They loved him. He staffs up his administration with them. They pay no consequence for destroying the whole global economy and destroying wealth of, especially some of the people who are now involved in the Reddit thing. But anytime he would even say the slightest, mildest of criticism, it was like, oh my God, the class warfare, we can't have this.
That's exactly right. And look, here, you want to know about Leon's fair share? Leon Cooperman in 2017 had to settle a inside.
Oh, why did it do that? What is going on? What is going on? Hello? Can you guys still hear me? Am I still on? Am I still on? I think I'm still on. Usually it does that when it's about to go dead. I don't even know if I'm on. I think I am on. Alright. Alright, we're going back. We're going back. I'll just edit that out later. I'll just edit it out later.
Trading case where he paid, this is not a joke, $5 million in civil penalties. His current net worth is $3.2 billion. He admitted no wrongdoing.
$600,
so before Mr.
they're
Cooperman's lawyers
investing
come
all
after
their
him, give him the
money.
full story here, but that's the reality of what we live in. Is this guy pays a $5 million fine for an alleged insider trading scheme that he has to go and settle with the SEC. And is that justice? I don't think so. You know, and did he pay his fair share? I don't think so.
Do they ever? Do they ever? It's no surprise that they don't ever pay their fair share. They're playing a game, and they play it well. They play it damn good. They play it damn good. But you know what? This whole thing gives me hope. And here's why it gives me hope. This whole thing proves that the power is within the people. Not only in politics, but also in the financial market. In the stock market, we have a lot of ability to make change and to affect change. And so what I think about all of this that's going on right now, I believe that this is going to get more people involved in the stock market. The same way that Donald Trump got more people involved in politics. Now, whether you think it was good or bad that Trump got elected, okay? I guarantee you started paying more attention to politics. Now, it's extremely important for us to think for ourselves because, again, the media can be very manipulative. Now, everyone has been on the side of the people because this is I think everyone can jump on board with this because the people who are crying about what's going on right now with Robinhood and the Reddit site wallstreetbets, those are the people who are the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. They're used to getting their way. They're not used to people questioning them. And now they're crying for regulations. Now they are crying for regulations. So the reason that this has me inspired is because a lot more people are going to start paying attention to the financial market. And more people are going to start to invest, I think. I'm going to invest. I mean, I didn't really understand the market before a lot of this. But now that I dug into this a little more and watch Ben Shapiro, watch Impulsive, watch a couple other financial guys, we're going to have Bryce J. Vibes on for Finance Friday next week, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more. And we're going to talk about how you can get started investing because I want to get going. It's something I'm curious about. It's something I haven't really dug into. And it's because, one, I didn't trust what was going on, and two, I didn't know enough to get it going on. So I want you guys to be with me on that journey when I start investing. So next Friday, Bryce J. Vibes, he's going to be on. We're going to talk about everything that happened here, and then we're going to talk about basically, I'll dig into a little bit more of why I think more people are going to start investing. And if you're already invested, it's a great time to be in the market. I believe that when the norm is disrupted, people get involved. People get curious. And the norm has been disrupted when Donald Trump was elected president. Who saw that? Who saw that coming? And you know what it did? It got everyone way more interested. And now we have this. Basically, the game has been shooken up. It proves that there's power in the people. It proves that we, the people, can play the game that the billionaires are playing. And that gives me hope. But you know what kind of scares me? The fact that these people are probably going to be bailed out. The fact that the people who took this risk, the people who tried to short GameStop, are probably going to be bailed out. And that's what scares me. Because if it was a regular person and you lose all your money in the stock market, that's the risk you take. But when it's millionaires, billionaires, gajillionaires losing their money, there's a problem. And the person that President Trump the person that President Biden just instated as his, I think it's the financial cabinet head, I'm not exactly sure, but Again, we're over at the Hill here.
Lots of Robinhood and GameStop
They're gonna talk
developments
about
yesterday,
Janet
but we have to
Yellen.
focus on the political angle here because, as always, there is a tale of corruption between people in power and then the people who make a lot of money on Wall Street. This one involves our Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen. So there was a lot of discussion yesterday around Robinhood's decision in order to shut down trading of GameStop stock, AMC stock, and a few others that were mentioned on the Wall Street Bets subreddit. Now, the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki was
We're almost
asked
done. I'm
about
getting a
this
beer.
2 days ago. She said Janet Yellen is monitoring the situation. Oh, well, it turns out, and let's throw this up there on the screen, that Janet Yellen was actually paid $800,000 from Citadel, which is a hedge fund which has received, or which has paid a lot of funds, millions of dollars, to Robinhood. It's actually one of Robinhood's main customers. And if there's one thing, a good thing that I think can try and come out of this is I hope people take away, when Robinhood is free for you to use, you are not the customer, you are the user, the product that they sell to Wall Street.
Yes.
The way that this works is that they take your trading data, they sell it to the hedge funds, people like Citadel. Citadel gets to front run your trades and sell it back to you for microtransactions, which add up to hundreds of millions of dollars, aka screwing you.
It's a model
me,
of exploitation, basically.
Essentially, it's stealing, but it's legal because they have more money than you and me, and they get to regulate the SEC in however they would want to. Now, this seems...
So, Robinhood, it would seem, was a good place to invest. Bryce J. Bibes and I are going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about some good places for you to invest.
A pretty obvious conflict of interest. In fact, so much of a conflict of interest that Kenneth Vogel over at the New York Times points out that Janet Yellen should, according to her ethics disclosure, not be allowed to even look at any matter concerning Citadel for a full year after the payment of that fee. But here's what the White House press secretary had to say when she was questioned on it.
You did mention, I believe, yesterday that the Treasury Secretary is monitoring the situation and she's kind of on top of it. There have been some kind of concerns about her previous engagements with Citadel and speaking fees that she has received from Citadel. Are there any plans to have her recuse herself from advising the president on GameStop and the whole Robinhood situation?
Well, just to be clear, what I said was that we have the Treasury Secretary is now confirmed. Obviously, we have a broad economic team. The SEC put out a statement yesterday that I referred to, but I don't think I have anything more for you on it other than to say, separate from the GameStop issue, the Secretary of Treasury is one of the world-renowned experts on markets, on the economy. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone she was paid to give her perspective and advice before she came into office.
So, if you heard that right, before Secretary of Finance Janet Yellen was brought into office, she went and did a speech at Citadel, this hedge fund, and she was given $800,000. Okay? What's free in this world? Nothing's free. Okay? So she was given $800,000, not because she's this expert, but because she was a pick to be in a position that could help a lot of people who are fucked. On we go.
Yeah, shouldn't be surprised that a hedge fund pays $800,000 to the former Federal Reserve Chairman so in order to advise a hedge fund who all they do is leech value off of you and me in the marketplace. That's their entire function. That's what I want people to understand here. And yeah, so look, does Janet Yellen have a stake here in Robinhood? No, probably not. But it's just a prop. It's just another example of people in power who have links to the people at the top and dramatically undermines public confidence in our regulators and in our system, and specifically because of this. Did she really need the $800,000 from that speech? I don't think so. I just don't.
There's also this concept of being a public servant.
Yes.
which these people seem to think means that they're like entitled to cash in to the tune of millions and millions of dollars off of their quote unquote service. There's so much to say about this. First of all, that response just makes me want to scream. Oh, she's an expert and she deserves it, so don't worry about it. It also harkens back to when Psaki was first asked about the whole GameStop issue. Her response was, first of all, I'll remind you we have the first female Treasury Secretary.
That's right.
And
That's
by the
right.
way, I have no comment. How
first
is that
brought up.
relevant? And that's exactly, and I'm sorry, okay, congratulations, that's great, representation, yay for everybody. That's exactly what she's doing here too. That's the subtext is like, wow, she's a powerful, expert woman, and so we can't question this money that is very strong. Hillary Clinton, Goldman Sachs speeches, 2015, 2016 vibes of like, this is what everybody does, and how dare you even come in and question it. You know, this is a mess and let's look into it, and she needs to recuse herself according to the ethics agreement that she herself signed.
You know what I think? These people are sweating. These people are fucking sweating. It's getting hot up in the sweatshop, and it's not getting hot for all the workers. It's getting hot up in the office because, man, this gives me hope. This gives me hope for the pores, the way that she had put it. I love the way that she put it. The pores. The pores are fucking coming. And it feels so good because hope is a very important thing. And I hope that this gives you hope because it gives me a lot of hope. I believe in investing and the power of the stock market now because it seems like an level playing field now. I'd strongly recommend if you're a poor, one of the poors, you go and follow that Reddit site, wallstreetbets. They were on top of this shit. I mean, Ben Shapiro, when he explains all this stuff, he talks about it like it's a prank. And good for these guys. It's what big hedge funds have been doing. They got played. Don't hate the player, hate the game. And if you're going to try and change the game, I would say play a different game and get the fuck out of here. That was our episode 7 days later today with Jason Wolf. Thank you for watching. It was a late night episode. It's probably 10 o'clock in the Eastern time. See ya.